Hi, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Laurel. I'm Laurel, and in this video we're going to talk about how you use your BA2 Plus calculator to do various compound interest calculations. When we're working with compound interest and we want to calculate any of the values involved, we're going to be using these white keys, N, I per Y, PV, payment, and FV. And what these represent is the time, number of time periods, the interest rate per year, the present value, any payments that are made, and future value. So let's take a look at some examples. Our first example says $15,000 is invested at 6% compounded annually for 4 years. So let's write down what we know. 15,000 is the present value. When you enter present value using these functions, you want to make it negative. That money is leaving your hands going into an investment. Interest rate per year is 6%. We don't have to write it as a decimal. We can just write it as 6. N, it's compounded annually for 4 years. So the number of compound periods will be 4 times 1. Payment is 0. And what we're finding is the future value. To begin with, you want to make sure that you've cleared the worksheet so there's nothing in there from previous calculations. So we're going to turn our calculator on. The clear time value money is right there. So we're going to go second function and clear that. The other thing we're going to do before we start is put in payments per year and also compound per year. And if we have an investment compounded annually, that means the compound period as well as the payment period is just 1. So in order to get that, we're going to go second function and press this key, and you'll see P per Y. It says 2. We want to change that to 1, and we're going to enter that. If we scroll, you'll see compound periods per year is 1. That's what we want. We're going to exit out of here or quit, so we go second function, quit. Now we can put all of these values in. So 4, press N. Then percent interest is 6, interest per year. Then negative 15,000, so 15,000, change the sign. That's present value. Payment is 0. It should be 0. We can recall and check. If we've cleared everything, it should be 0, but if you're not sure, you can put 0 and then payment. And then we want to calculate future value. So compute future value, and we get $18,937.15. Let's try some more examples where it's compounded either monthly or weekly or quarterly or semi-annually and see how that changes things. In this second example, we have $15,000 invested at 6% compounded monthly for 4 years. So that'll change a few things. First of all, our present value is still, we're going to enter it as a negative 15,000. We're still not going to have any payments made. The interest rate is still 6. However, it's compounded monthly for 4 years, so the number of compound periods will be 4 times 12 per year, which is 48. Let's clear our display, and let's clear all of these values. So we're going to go second function, clear TVM. And now we're going to enter the payment per year and the compound per year. Because it's compounded monthly, our payment per year and our compound per year, it will be 12. So we're going to go second function, this key, and we're going to enter 12. Make sure you enter it. Let's scroll, and you see that compound periods per year, there's 12, so we're good. We can quit this, second function, quit. And now we can put these values in. So N is 48, so we enter 48 and enter N. Our interest rate per year is 6, so we put 6 and enter I per Y. Present value is negative 15,000, so 15,000, make it negative. Present value. We don't have to worry about payment. If we want to look at what the payment is, we can go recall payment, and because we've cleared everything, it's 0. And now we want to compute future value, so compute future value, and our answer is $19,057.34. In our next example, $20,000 is invested at 5% compounded quarterly for 3 years. We want to know the future value. So let's start with compounded quarterly. We know the compound periods per year is 4. So we're going to enter P per Y is 4, and then automatically C per Y will be 4. N will be 3 years times 4 compound periods per year, which would be a total of 12 compound periods. Interest rate is 5%. Present value is 20,000. Make sure that it's negative, and we want to find future value. I'm not going to bother with payments because we're not making any payments, and as long as we clear our TVM, then payment will be 0. Let's start with this. Let's make this 4. Remember to enter it. Let's check C per Y. We're good. We're going to quit. Now we're going to enter these values. 5 is interest rate, negative 20,000. So put 20,000, change the sign, is present value. So compute future value. And we get $23,215.09. In our next example, we're going to find present value when we know future value. So it's asking the present value of $10,000, future value of $10,000, due in 5 years if interest is 6% compounded monthly. So if it's compounded monthly, these values will be 12. 5 years times 12, N will be 60, and our interest rate is 6. So let's clear everything and enter 12 for payments and compound period per year. So 12, enter, check it, and quit. So 60 is N, interest is 6, 10,000 is future value, and we want to compute present value. We get negative $7,413.72, which you can just write as a positive value. Our next question asks us to find time. It says, how many years will it take $1,000 to grow to $1,500 if interest is 4% compounded monthly? So these values will be 12 if it's compounded monthly. Present value is $1,000, and make that negative. Future value is $1,500. Interest rate is 4, and we want to find N. So let's clear everything, and let's enter this value first. It's already 12, so we're good. Then we're going to enter interest rate of 4, negative 1,000 for present value, 1,500 for future value, and we're going to calculate N. That's going to be 121.8 compound periods. Since it's compounded monthly, that will be 8 months. And if we want to know years, let's divide by 12. So 10.15 years. And in our last example, we're going to find the interest rate. What interest rate, compounded semi-annually, is required to grow $5,000 into $10,000 in 10 years? So if it's semi-annually, that's 2 times a year. And N is 10. Years times 2 times a year would be 20. Interest rate is what we're finding. Present value is $5,000, so we will enter that as a negative number. Future value is $10,000. So let's clear everything, starting with P per Y. Let's change that to 2, enter it. C per Y is 2, we're good. Enter these values, N is 20. PV is negative 5,000. Future value is 10,000. And let's compute interest, 7.05%. So get comfortable using your calculator, know how to use these functions. Just remember to clear TVM before you start and set your compound periods per year.